Who let the dogs out? Mahmood did.
I did finally have an answer.
Mahmood let the dogs out.
All right. We're live, boys.
We're live with a mic. With a mic. Can y'all hear that?
Yes.
Oh.
Now that he does that, it sounds like it's from Walmart.
It does sound a little bit canny.
All right. Well,
he's out.
That concludes today's. Oh, look at that! A random dog bark. Wonder who that could be.
Wow, tensions are not high at all today.
No.
Connor's got an attitude today. Everybody.
No, I don't have an attitude.
Connor's got an attitude.
I'm getting bullied right here.
All right. Well, first of all, it's nice to see both of you in the same spot again.
Who did it? Who did it? Who dinged?
It was I don't have a Mac.
That was my computer. My computer, I can't mute the dings.
See, Triston, it's not just me. It's Mahmood too.
If I mute it, I will not be hearing you.
God. Excuses.
Whatever, dude. Mine's on silent. So
it's good to see you too, Triston. How are you guys?
I'm good, Mr. Master of the Skies.
Connor's good. He went off program yesterday and maxed his deadlift, so he feels great.
I feel fantastic, dude. Came out of nowhere. I just jumped into class and said, "Hey, let's pull 485." So I did.
Okay, I feel like you knew it was a max deadlift before you just jumped into class.
I mean, yeah, but like,
okay.
I did my running after. I still stayed on track. I just did extra. So theoretically, you should be being like, "Good job."
Good job, Connor.
That's what a good coach would do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. If anybody was wondering what it's like to coach Connor, that's what it's like. Every day.
Yeah, a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure.
Should I make this a different color?
Yeah, you're super white, dude. You're like neon white. Are you gonna?
Well, I had a white light. And now
are you gonna tan anytime soon?
No.
No.
No, I'm not gonna tan.
Look at my color. I look pretty good here in College Station, dude.
I'm glad you're getting sun.
UV rays are about a 10 right now.
I mean, it is pretty toasty in Texas. Albany was nice.
Yes,
that day it rained on us.
Yeah. So take me through that. Did speaking of game stuff.
Game stuff. The topic today.
The important stuff. I just want to know what you thought about the city, man. I know a lot of people, had their thoughts about Albany, just in general, about moving, maybe finding a permanent home. I just kind of want to hear your thoughts about like the location of it. Do you think it's a long-term thing for CrossFit, or, is there, temporary? Yeah. Do you think they eventually go back to Madison? No.
So the rumor mill that Dallin and them were talking about on Boys Interrupted, and I guess a couple other people were talking about, is Carson for the 20th anniversary of the games next year.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Do you think if they do go to Carson, where would they go though? Is there an event center there in Carson?
They'll just go back to the StubHub Center and the soccer stadium.
Very good.
Or not? Is it the StubHub Center?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Albany was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I didn't love it.
Yeah. Was it? I know you told me it was crowded and.
So it's just a typical Northeast town. Like the streets are narrow. It's very old.
Mm-hmm.
There's also clearly not a lot going on.
Yeah.
I inadvertently ended up in some sketchy areas several times.
You go for those.
He survived.
I survived. Yeah.
He's a survivor.
So yeah, I mean, Albany itself wasn't amazing. The venue was pretty solid. There was like a little athlete like area in this one building, and then you had to kind of walk to the main arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then the run route and like where they did event one was nice. It was scenic, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like next to is it a river?
Yeah, it's the Hudson.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was fine, but I would not imagine they'll be there long term.
Yeah. Do you think because I know when they came to Fort Worth, obviously we had the event outdoors. But do you think the temperature kind of solidified for everybody? Like, was there any say about being too hot, too cold?
No,
You know.
no, and especially that day, the day we ran was the day after it rained.
Mm-hmm.
So it was. I mean, it got warm when they were out there, but I think they started the event and it was like 63, 65.
Man, it's crazy to see somebody says that's hot. You know what I mean? Like you go to Europe and people say like 70, 80 degrees is hot, and we deal with 98, 99
for
100
months
plus over here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was pretty nice. By the time they finished the event, it was probably in the 70s to mid 70s,
Mm-hmm.
but it was fine. I would say there was a little humidity being right next to the river, but again, I live in Houston, so when people talk about humidity and they're not from.
Yeah, I saw the staging behind the rowing area, but was there staging along the run route as well, or was that just kind of like a free for all type deal?
Yeah, so it was open, so you could just go wherever you wanted on the run route. So the loop was 2 miles twice, row 2 miles basically. So I just went probably 100 yards down the run route, and then when Hattie would come back by, I would go back in here, catch her when she came back out, and I just kind of did that.
They closed the path from the public, right? It was off limits. I didn't see anybody. Like Madison, there were people running between the athletes or walking.
I don't know.
I was looking and I didn't see anybody that wasn't racing.
I didn't see anybody either, but I don't know that they closed it either.
It would be pretty impeccable if there was just nobody was on the path.
Yeah.
Kind of a wild card.
Yeah, I don't know. They might have closed it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering that.
Wouldn't that be so cool if a random spectator just held paces with the runners? just outran them without doing the road, just outran them in the run.
The Capitol event in Madison, there were people running on the trail while they were running.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one went smooth, but yeah, I mean, Albany was all right. The hotel I stayed at was awesome. We had free dinner on Tuesday and Wednesday. That was dope.
Nice. Was that a hotel thing or was that a CrossFit Games thing?
That was a hotel thing.
Dang, bro. Free dinner?
Yeah, and it had like beer and margaritas and like
dang, bro.
Soda machine. Yeah, it was just pretty dope.
Dang, what'd y'all eat over there? Was it a top 5-course meal or what?
Not at all. Much more reminiscent of cafeteria food, but it was still free.
Hey,
so,
free food's free food.
We'll take it. So Albany was like, I mean, it definitely didn't blow my hair back, but
yeah.
I'm also not a lover of Northeast cities.
Question.
Wait, what, Mamu?
Like blow me away, blow my hair back.
All right, okay. I also have no hair, so I don't know if that is
there it is. I'm glad you said it, so I didn't have to.
It's all right, Mamu. It's all right.
I don't know if back versus sideways. I don't know if there's a difference.
It honestly looks really smooth today. Did you shave that thing down?
I mean Sunday, but
so do you like Bic it?
Yeah, I get that like the foil one, and it's just
dang, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, Mahmoud. I got a real question for the people. When's the last time you went to a barber? How long ago was that?
Wait, let me guess first.
Sure.
10 years.
I mean, 8 years since I've been here, so 8 years.
Dang, so you got to Houston and you got bald.
Oh, I was bald before I got here, but
okay.
I would even still go to the barber back home to do like trim my beard or something. Here it's just so expensive. There's no.
Yeah. So you did this goatee right here. You did this by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Brother, that is impressive.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of practice. It's gone bad multiple times before.
Yeah, I've nicked myself and I've had to shave off my beard. I hate when I do it because I don't look right without a beard.
Fair. Yeah.
I still look 12.
Same. I look like an actual 7-year-old with no facial hair.
Yeah, Triston. I don't know, man. Have I ever seen you without? I've seen you with the mustache.
I have had facial hair, even if it was just super short, since the last time I shaved was Andrew's wedding in 2018.
Gotcha.
And his wife was like, the groomsmen will be clean shaven. And I was like,
oh, okay. Yes. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
she's in charge.
Do you consider that beard thick right now?
No,
Mm.
not at all.
Mm.
Let's get back on topic.
Anyway, I guess and kind of take us through, going event by event. We had the all crossed up. We can go event by event, but overall, I do think just from observing from a 10,000-foot view at home, I thought the programming went really well. I know Morning Chalk Up had posted something about, going back to the roots, how multiple athletes had completed their L1, L2. I think one of them completed an L3 or something like that. But kind of talk to us about like what you thought overall of the programming. I thought from just watching and stuff, it was very, I wouldn't call it basic, but the foundation of CrossFit of what we traditionally tested in fitness was retested and in an optimal way. Kind of take us through everything you thought about that stuff.
I liked the programming overall. I think it ended up being there was a little bit of a bias toward under 10-minute workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I'd have to go look and see if that was the average finish time was still under 10 minutes. But so you could make an argument a little bit on the shorter side, but overall, it was definitely very classic CrossFit.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. They didn't have the super cool odd object stuff or as much outdoor stuff as we're used to. But I still think no sandbags. Yeah.
No sandbags.
No sandbags. And I think part of it too that people should consider is like the axle bar is a little bit of an odd object. The deep deficit parallel handstand push-ups isn't an odd object, but it's an odd gymnastics. It's a higher gymnastics variation, right? Pegboard has been around a long time, but is still traditionally something that's reserved for the games. From a programming perspective. Not that it's an overly high skill now, but I think there was enough higher skill stuff.
Double under crossover.
Crossover double unders. I think that was actually really cool to show the progression of the field. 22? Everybody, the majority of people just looked like dorks trying to do it.
Yep.
And now most of the field easily did their sets of 20. No problem.
Do you think the crossover double unders stay a resident in the games? Not year after year, but something that keeps getting retested in different formations?
I think they'll come in iteratively every couple of years and just slowly go up in volume or density. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy? So like you said the bias was towards a little bit under 10 minutes. I know the grip trip was one that kind of lasted over the 10-minute mark, and then of course the first event. But do you think why do you think they stayed in that realm rather than these 20-minute grind sessions, long chippers, so on and so forth?
I don't know if that was a conscious decision for Dave,
Mm-hmm.
or if it was more so testing the movements and kind of modalities he wanted to test, and then however fast they completed it, and he had his time caps for scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was it, like the logistical to fit the games or 10 events in 3 days. You kind of had to keep them on the short side. I don't know now that they had to stay in 3 days, logistically speaking. Like they couldn't rent the arena for longer or whatever. But
yeah,
I feel like before that, it used to be like 13 up to 15 events. But over... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think 10 events is enough. I think it's probably the minimum.
But they need a day more to include more like longer.
Yeah. And so day one was tight.
Mm-hmm.
Like day one, I didn't eat all day, basically.
Yeah.
Because by the time you get back from the offsite event, very short amount of time before warm up and call times for the next event, then they did the 2 team events back to back, so that had a little bit of a buffer, but it was relatively short.
Yeah.
So the Saturday and Sunday was a little bit better, and I think this is something I really took in the last day in particular, and I just think it's worth kind of talking about publicly for the internet and the community. People have no idea how much goes into that.
Sure.
Like, you just can't imagine the amount of people and equipment and like signage and beepers and buzzers and volunteer. It's actually insane. Like, a lot of people have been to a semifinal. A lot of athletes might have competed at a semifinal. The games makes a semifinal look like child's play.
Yeah, and I think the testament is, like, we always see what's on screen.
Right.
We don't see the change out of weights. We don't see the rolling of new equipment. We don't even see the back, like, for example, the back squat, right? They had to set those up, tear them down.
And like the broadcast too is something that I know CrossFit takes a lot of heat for, but I don't think people truly understand. Like, and yes, it could probably be better, but like, we're in the warm up area. There's somebody watching a phone down to the second for them to call the athletes to the corral. They make sure all the athletes are there, the ones who are supposed to be there, make sure everybody's chip timed. There's somebody at the corral watching their phone down to the second to line them up to go onto the arena. And then there's the MC out on the arena floor. There's a camera guy next to her listening to the van for the broadcast. Chase and Adrian are up in the top of the box with the heat sheet of who's going to be coming up. The announcer starts announcing them. The people in the van tell the camera guy what freaking athletes. It's just like the amount of precision and orchestration for that to come off the way it does, however many times across the weekend. The equipment's all in the right place. The equipment's checked out. The equipment's working. The judges are like, there's so much.
And then add in like the storyline behind each athlete and like
it's like
small talk and like
I know last year's games was obviously just really rough for everybody, and the vibe this year was very, very good. Like, and I just think it made me. This is my 3rd time at the games coaching individuals, my 4th time total in a coaching capacity. I just kind of took a step back and was like, man, I'm going to really appreciate this. And I'm going to really appreciate all the work that goes into this for me to be out here just telling Hattie to go faster and like warming her up. You know what I mean? Like, what? Yeah. I contribute nothing to this, basically.
I thought the broadcast did a really, really good job just speaking on YouTube's behalf. I mean, there was no disruptions. The connections were all good. We didn't even have a mic go down from what I can remember.
Right.
And that's all normal stuff. But just looking at it as a whole, I thought this ran really, really good.
It was super smooth.
Yeah. Whether you talk about the way, Sean Woodland stepped out, and here comes Adrian and Chase, which was awesome. I thought they were a great, great, great crew in there. They brought in Shadburn, for the long endurance event and stuff like that. So I thought, man, and they even did a good job on the first event of just keeping people engaged. Yeah, it was hard. That's something that's hard to watch from a general spectator vibe. Not a coach, not an athlete, or maybe you're just a regular gym goer. That's tough to watch because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to watch him run, I'm going to watch her run, and then I'm going to watch him row, and then I'm going to watch her run. So, I think Adrian is, in his own way, the best commentator in the space because he is very well spoken. He is a former high-level athlete on the team side and the individual side. He is L1 seminar staff. He is a high-level coach now. He coaches people at the semifinal level. I'm sure he's coached people at the games level as well, and he coaches masters. And he has such a breadth of knowledge of understanding of the methodology that he can not only talk about what the athletes are more than likely thinking, what their game plan is, how they should approach the workout, but then he can tie that in with talking about the methodology while he's doing it. And it's like, I thought he is one of the best announcers since they first had him on. I don't even remember when that was, a couple years ago. But he crushes it. And him and Chase combo is so good. Really good.
Yeah.
It was really
So
good this year. Hats off to them because I'm one of those people that, generally speaking, like for the CrossFit Games weekend, I'll tune into a couple of events and then I'm off doing something. It's never something I can sit down. And when I go back and watch now, you can really just they're excited. And I'm not saying a knock on anybody else, but it was a good, refreshing broadcast couple that really just solidified. Like you were saying, the methodology, and then Adrian, I know for a fact, even spoke about some things that maybe people didn't even think of. The grip trip or the snatching Isabel, right? It's like, hey, you may not have to run as fast, vice versa. If your cycle speed, so things like that. Yeah, things like that is all valuable information. And there's a couple things that he said. I was like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. So it's like, I think they did a really good job. Like I said, I can't even remember if a mic had gone down. I don't remember any lags in the streams as far as like, the very blocky screen, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That was they did a great job this weekend. Great job.
Yeah, it was good. Let's see. Because you kind of asked like logistics of, most of the events they really ran smooth. Everything was on time. There was one time change, but that was it.
Yeah, what happened? Now, Colton, maybe you don't know or do know, but did Colton have a rope that was his that failed?
From my understanding, he was using the Benitez rope they gave them, but he had one in the past.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, this is a new one. I'll just shorten it up to my height and use it because it's new. And in the video, it looks like he lands on it.
Yeah, and it just
explodes, which, that could happen with any rope, right? And there was a spare on the floor, or he had taken – they told the athletes you could have your own spare or there would be spares on the floor, right?
Okay.
So that's what he ended up going and getting and using.
Did y'all see how calm he was in that moment?
I know. I was like waiting for an outrage or something.
Yes, something. But Colton's like, hey, just somebody give me a rope. And the dude went back to work.
Dude, I've only spoken to Colton very briefly in passing, but I've been around him a decent bit over the last couple of years. He's a smooth operator.
Yeah, he seems like a fun guy to be around and just a cool dude.
I think it takes a lot to piss him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a quieter guy in general, and he's a smooth operator.
He's even on the council, and every time he speaks, it's like very calm, very composed, never like out of emotion.
Yeah. You can tell a lot about a person when he reacts like that. So that's very good. That's also them. Triston, what was on two aspects of this question, what was your favorite event to coach, maybe strategize for? And then what was your favorite event to watch as a spectator when Hattie was not on the floor, right?
My favorite event to watch as a spectator was, probably the final for the men, or I would say that was a close tie with all of the heats of the snatch running Isabel.
That
event was so good, dude.
That was cool to watch, and surprisingly, I enjoyed watching the handstand walk event.
The handstand walk event was good too, for sure. I think the one I enjoyed strategizing the most would have probably been not grip trip, all crossed up, the crossover double under one. So I think a lot of people went into it with just the mindset of like you have to go unbroken on one arm and then the other arm, and then they would start to get flustered on the crossover double unders or something. And like the toe to bar played a decent amount into that race as well. So it was kind of a shorter event, but you could run your own race to some degree and end with a similar finish to other people. So that was a fun one to strategize.
Yeah. Did you notice much stuff going on with the pegboards? That was a big aspect of the conversation over the weekend. Tia came in 16th on that one. She came back and said that like she didn't think she executed well, but from my understanding, there was some residue from past athletes and heats of sweat and just overall But did Hattie say anything about much playing a role in that, or?
Yeah. So Hattie came back, and I could tell she was slipping a little more than normal. And what she told me was it wasn't sweat; it was chalk
Oh,
from
okay.
the teams. So there was like this thin layer of chalk on the pegboard
Sure.
that just made it to where your feet would just slide right off, right? So at some point, I think this was during the round of 2, so she was almost done with the pegboard event,
Mhm.
but she would spit on her sweatband or on the mat and then get her feet like a little wet, her toes, almost like for a basketball court.
Yeah.
And then she would fly up the next rep.
Mm.
So it wasn't consistent lane to lane, which is something that like obviously CrossFit should address,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like they were just soaked or unable to be climbed.
Yeah, I think
They're the same. They're the same pegboards they used in 2015. Bill and
Yeah, I was
Katie
gonna say,
said that.
I've seen those before.
Yeah.
They just had them in a warehouse, I guess, since then. So, I mean, yeah, learning lesson there for CrossFit. Maybe you come by with like a big dust broom and like
Mhm.
hit them real fast in between the events.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little bit of a learning curve for sure for athletes, which is like it's unfortunate, but like sometimes I mean that's just in-person competition. Sometimes you have to adapt on the fly.
How loud did it get in the back squat event?
Loud.
Yeah.
I think the loudest one I was in the arena for though was probably the run snatch, dude.
Yeah. It's like that's an exciting event. It's a constant moving event.
Like every heat was just
yeah.
Like people are going crazy because especially in round 4 and 5, anything could happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
anything could happen.
Just takes one person to stop her.
And I think most athletes went into that and they were like, I'm not gonna break. Like, why would I break? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, Brooke broke, Haley Adams broke.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Hattie was gonna fail her last 2 snatches.
Hopper failed.
Hopper failed twice.
That was an insane finish for that. That was some drama right there. I haven't, in CrossFit, like, these athletes are so well tuned to know their limits, but I think that workout forced them more so than normal to go that extra 2-3 reps. And that was a really fun event to watch because of that, because you could see the cycle speed slowing down and you knew that those athletes were struggling on running Isabel. And that was one of my favorites to watch.
There was no avoiding what was coming in that workout. Like you could go too fast in round 1 and 2 and kind of screw yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you were like, okay, I've done round 1 and 2 at the right pace, you know what's coming in round 5.
Absolutely.
But you have to do it, or you're just going to get last.
Yeah. A small detail that I noticed on running Isabel that I really appreciated, and this is just, I'm sure CrossFit kind of thought about this too, but the judges rolled the barbells for them.
Yeah.
That was like a very small detail that I really took home because, you never want anybody to struggle just because they're rolling or anything like that, getting it set.
Right.
And that was a really cool thing to keep that intensity on that workout. That was
cool. It took out that element of the athletes having to mess with it, and it just made it to where all they had to think about was running and snatching as fast as they could.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
So it was. I really liked that they did that.
Yeah. Did you? What do you think your wattage of Jason Hopper's final 50 calories on Going Dark was?
Oh, I don't know. Do we know how fast he did
it? No, but I'm sure I can go back and find out. But it was an absurd.
Mahmoud, are you going to find it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was cooking for sure.
Yeah. Triston, this kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about you what was that?
8:26.
Do you know how long his bike was though?
Oh.
Can you scrub if you go to the last heat of the event, can you just see the time of when he was on the bike to when he got off?
The dude clapped his hands.
It'll take a second.
Got to work, bro. It was insane. He weighs
like 230 right now.
Really?
Yeah. That's what he said.
That's a large human being, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Jason in the back and stuff at the last couple games, and he looked notably larger than I'd ever seen him before.
Good for him, bro. I mean, that dude. I mean, he's also Clemson football player. But you see a lot of football players and just sport athletes coming into CrossFit and not really being able to grasp what CrossFit demands. And I think he has totally, obviously, figured that out as fittest man on earth.
I think what's interesting about Jason, too, is he's probably one of the first elite fast twitch athletes to come into the sport.
That's fair, too. Yeah.
Right. So, like, if you look at the, like, not genetic, but I mean, somewhat genetic, but just athlete profile of a wide receiver in collegiate football in the U.S., like, you are an elite fast twitch athlete.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we haven't seen a ton of those transition into CrossFit. We've seen collegiate wrestlers, we've seen collegiate soccer players on the women's side a lot, some other sports, but there hasn't been a ton of like that skill position. We've seen some running backs from football, like Scott Panchik, I think, played running back, maybe Hepner. So it's almost like a different build of an athlete kind of coming into it and finding success, which is interesting.
Yeah. Do you think, one thing we didn't see this year was ring muscle ups?
So I'm personally fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
We had 28 bar muscle ups.
Yes. Something like that.
We had 28 bar muscle ups. We had 10 pegboard. We had 7, 5, 3 rope climbs. So 15 rope climbs.
Yep.
Would I have liked to see rings? Sure. Yes.
Yeah. And
but I think it was I think there was enough vertical pulling. We had the weighted chest to bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know people who struggled with the pegboard because it was slippery. Like there were athletes who like their lats and stuff were immediately destroyed.
I would have liked after throttle up, which is the one with 28 chest to bars, going into hammer down, the next event. I would have liked to see some ring muscle ups smash between the C2 and those burpee box jump overs.
That was an interesting event in the sense of throttle up was all about the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of the burpees, but the chest to bars were basically irrelevant. Everybody was going to go broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had hammer down, which was entirely about the bar muscles.
Sure.
Like the machine, the C2 mattered very little, and the burpees only mattered if you got off of the bar muscle ups at the same time as the other athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like the key in that workout was who gets through the bar muscle ups fastest and most efficiently. So it was kind of interesting. They did test the same general time domain, so energy system as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that one was kind of just like a pre-fatigue bar muscle up test with your heart rate in your throat.
Yeah. I would have loved to see, push the limits of 25 rings right there.
I think if they wanted the same stimulus again, they should have just done 15 bar muscle ups.
On the back half?
Yeah. And see who's gonna maybe 18 to see who's gonna go unbroken again.
Yes.
Who's got it like that.
Yeah.
Right. Or who's gonna try to hammer the bike because they know they're gonna need one break.
Yeah.
Whereas with 28, especially after skiing that hard and then 28 vested chest bar, it was like everybody's breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking a minute 28.
He just biked a minute 28.
Brother.
So let me see.
Yeah, do some math. Do your magic, Tristan. Let's see what wattage that man was holding on his last 50.
So calories.
Just wait for this absurd number.
Where is my?
It's gonna make you feel really good about yourself.
RPM. Let me see. Do I have it saved in my phone? I have it on my laptop. Stand by. Let me pull up. I'll even share it on the screen in a second. Let me see.
Mahmood, what are you training for, man? What you got coming up?
I got a whole fleet of competitions coming up.
Wide gods, baby. I can't wait to see you in the RX division.
I heard you're doing
Stop.
RX with me.
Yeah, I am, dude. I am.
I got the sprint triathlon August 31st.
All right.
Yeah, let's see this.
So let me hold on. So he did it. He did 50 calories in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
About.
So that's what.
About 15 calories a minute.
So we'll say. So he was probably at 70.
20 calories a minute.
20 calories a minute. So that's 72.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
About 400.
72. Yeah, 404 watts. 72 is 20.2 calories a minute.
That's an insane pace, especially after all that work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was an impressive finish for him.
He made it look like an assault bike.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps when you're his size.
True. 230 pounds will do some work.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Bike for sure.
So I got a question for both of you. And Tristan, I know you made an Instagram post about, some observations of, if you're a semifinals athlete or an athlete of any sort on that level, rep speed plays a role. And I think we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But this goes for both of you. What did you notice? What stood out to you as coaches at Ascend Athlete about, hey, maybe we should focus on this a little bit? And I know every year CrossFit Games comes up, we're always like, hey, we need to train this a little bit more, train this a little bit more. And there's always that dynamic of shuffling things. But what stood out to you two about, just overall programming this year and what the athletes were able to do with it?
When did you go first? I'm curious. So we haven't talked about this.
Honestly, this is kind of the first year where I finally feel like I can actually just work on fitness.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every year it's been like, oh, ring handstand push-ups or parallel bar handstand walk or crossover double unders for the first time. I can just work on, okay, this was a good test of capacity, a good test of coordination, a good test of just the fundamental 10 fundamental skills that we work on in CrossFit. And I don't need to worry about reinventing the wheel with a pullover bar muscle up or whatever weird things we've seen. And I don't know if y'all have seen the same thing, but since the programming of the games have been announced, every competition that has published any workouts from that point onwards that I've seen has been following the same path, just fitness, no complication. Again, this might be irrelevant for a lot of people who are listening, but Wagga just published their second workout and it has snatched at 115 for the RX division.
Yep. It's so bad.
It's gonna hurt so bad, but I can train for this, right? This is a fitness test. I can do it. Most people can do it. Just can't. How fast can you do it? That's what that was the main point of CrossFit when it started. And yes, skills are important, everything. And I'm not saying stop training your skills, but stop making up skills.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Do you think the programming biases towards the 10 foundational movements that CrossFit stands on? I've been saying this for a long time. It's, kind of going the lines of what you've been saying, right? It's we've been so out of the box. We had a handstand walk onto a box last year or year before. Year or year before.
You had the ramp and then you had to pirouette on the box.
Right. So, and if you want to test pirouettes and stuff, I think that's valuable. But, do you think CrossFit is going to continue to find value in pirouetting on a box or, stuff like that? Or do you think they kind of branch out next year again and go back to kind of finding new skills to develop?
I have faith that they are going to continue on that path from their the signs that tell me that they already announced the Open. Last year, we didn't know when the Open is until it was January, right? Yeah. That fact, and with Tristan saying that, okay, this was a really good games. If you've been around Tristan for the past year, he was skeptical about the future of CrossFit altogether, right? So that was a really good sign for me to okay, let's just fitness, right? Let's just get fitter and get stronger. And I'm not saying, again, don't do gymnastics. I am one
Correct.
Like I cherish skill work, but like let's not make up unnecessary complexes that like takes away from the fitness at this point.
Well, and that was never Dave's style.
Yeah, but it's not. It goes beyond Dave and the games. Like it all trickled down to local competitions and semifinals and all that.
It'll trickle down, but I would never take it as like they're gonna actually adhere to that.
Yeah.
Right. Like I will continue to give people bar muscle up pullover. I will continue to give people wall ball lunges. Like we will work crossover double unders, triple unders, seated legless up and down. Like, and I think Dave does this so masterfully, which is why like I think the games this year was a very good return to like classic work capacity. And, you know, a lot of the athletes were like, oh, these don't look that hard. It's like, good. That's the point.
Good.
You're all capable, so you're going to have to race, right?
Yeah.
But I think Dave is masterful at setting people up to forget something and then hitting them with it in the next year or 2 years. So, like, it would not surprise me at all if next year, like we don't see the pegboard, but then at the games next year, we see seated legless to 18 feet again up and down, like alpaca was originally meant to be done a couple years ago. Or we see a workout, like a skill medley again with some freestanding handstand push-ups or pirouettes or, you know, stuff like that again. Like I think, I don't know if Dave does those things intentionally. Like I think he looks at each year individually when writing the games, but I think he is very aware that a lot of people in the community take whatever the games does as like, oh, this is what it's going to be for the next X however long. And then he knows he can not catch people, but he will highlight what you might have been neglecting because of short-term proximity bias.
Yep.
So I think it put a premium back on work capacity, yes. And it reminded us we don't have to do the craziest stuff in the world to find the fittest person and watch the athlete shine, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if we saw one event or two events next year that had a slight twist on high skill movement.
Yeah, I think overall, man, and you know, I'm on that line of semifinals guy, maybe not make the games, but you know, there's always that factor of past, I don't know, 2 to 3 years that it's always been, you know, oh man, like now I got to develop that, and now I got to develop that. I think what they have done is push people to further those skills, right? Maybe pirouette on the box might be a little bit far, but at the end of the day, I still think all the foundations were tested. I think, you know, in CrossFit we always say, you know, expect the unknown, but I think we got a little bit out of the box, and I think this year was a return to the box of testing fitness, not necessarily, hey, who can do something new faster or as many times. And from a general athlete standpoint, I can appreciate that because it's like, you know, dude, I may not even be able to do a pirouette on the box by the time I die, right? So there was a aspect of appreciation towards that, and I think, you know, going back to the future of CrossFit, you know, man, I think they did a really good job of solidifying, like, hey, we're reassuring, like we're still trying, we're still here, we're still very present. You know, and talking about the game, the structure of the season is a totally separate subject to what we're talking about. But I think the overall programming just hit home the traditional things that CrossFit was built on without going out of the box too far to where now we're not finding the fittest person. Now we're just testing who can do something new as many times or as fast as we can.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Now, Triston, tell the people what you thought, because I know me and you chit-chatted about, this was from an athlete standpoint on my aspect as well, but I know we chit-chatted a little bit about rep speed and, you know, kind of take me through. You were there, you know, and we don't, as spectators, don't get to see everything. on YouTube. But kind of take us through, man, your general takeaways about the athletes that were there, what you saw that they did really good, and then on the back half of things, the athletes that struggled, what did they struggle with? Where were they losing these points?
I think the games is there's so much that can impact any individual event, and especially like the weekend, like fueling, recovering. I had said to Hattie before the competition started, I said, hey, the second event of the CrossFit Games is recovering from the first event before the second event, because the turnaround was so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're going max effort damn near for 50 plus minutes, right? So I think like that's something that ended up tripping people up toward the end of the weekend. Like some people were, I think, just seeing how they performed on the last day might have had some recovery issues or some fueling issues, and it's hard. Like your stomach's tore up, you're eating nothing but sugar and protein. Like it's rough. It's hard. On the nuts and bolts side, I definitely like this year it seemed to be, and this is probably a byproduct of it being classic CrossFit, just a premium on speed of movement or rep speed, more so than years in the past. Like if you go back and you watch a lot of the heats, even from the first heat to the last heat, almost all the athletes had a very, very similar game plan.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times in in-person competitions at lower levels, or even at like semifinals and sometimes the games in the past, it was you could beat somebody just because you strategize better. I think that's starting to go away because athletes are getting so intelligent, and there's enough smart coaches in the space where a lot of people are game planning the workouts the exact same way. So if everybody's doing the same strategy, the only way left to beat them is to do the movements faster or transition faster. Like those are the variables you have to play with, right? So for me, it was a big takeaway. And it's interesting because like when you and I talked, rep speed has always been super important in online qualifiers. But typically, like I said, at in-person events, it mattered, but not to the same degree, it seemed like. And I think that is, if that's gone at the games, that is going to start trickle down to where even for in-person competitions, TFX, semifinals, Fitness of the Coast, those things, it's going to continue to have more of a premium, right? So that was a really, really big takeaway. And then I think the next biggest takeaway I had, well, I guess two more. The easy one is the other one we posted on Ascend today, which was it's still a strong enough sport. I saw a lot of people on Instagram sharing stuff and talking about the back squat event. They were like, if you're not strong as fuck, you're not going to be a good CrossFit athlete. And I was just like, no, that is not the takeaway you should have from this at all. Especially if you're not already a games athlete and you're playing in a semifinal field, it's very much a strong enough sport still, because you need to have the fitness to, do well in multiple events back to back. The third thing I really took away from the games is even though it was only a 10-event games, you needed to have the volume under your belt. Like it wasn't a 15-event grinder games like we've seen in the past, but 10 events at max effort. I mean, you need to have touched your bases and done your due diligence with volume preparation leading up to the games, or by the time you get to Sunday, you're just not going to have it. Like you're just going to be so beat up. So it's interesting.
Talking about the rep speed thing, if you notice this year's games, the loading on barbells and etc. weren't as high as they've been, right? Just in the past, traditionally we see deadlifts at 405. Now, look, we did have a hefty deadlift. We had 350 inside and stuff like that with the 220 deadlift. Do you think?
So let me, I want to, because everybody was bitching a storm about the clean.
Yep. Let it rip.
Here's my thing with that. First of all, if Dave knew and Dave wanted it to be a pegboard event, like if Dave wanted the clean to be the bottleneck, he would have made it heavier. If he wanted the pegboards to be the slight bottleneck, assuming the pegboards were all fair, right? Like those to be the bottleneck, and then you to have to race on the barbell, that's fine. Could it have maybe been like 10 pounds heavier? Sure. But if you go back and watch the live stream, nobody was sprinting to the last two barbells and just ripping it.
No.
It was a steady walk. The race was on the pegboards. Mm-hmm. And if that's what Dave wanted, then he got what he wanted out of that test, and it was programmed appropriately. Yep. Like, if he wanted it to be a heavy bias weightlifting event, I think he would have made it heavier, and I don't think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted it to be who can get through these pegboards, and then if you get through the pegboards at the same time, you're now forced to race on this slightly heavier than you'd probably want to have to race barbell.
Yes, yeah. Especially ending at 305.
Right, 305 on a shorty bar.
Yep.
So that's it's like,
by the way, people.
Yeah.
A huge difference.
So it like, no, it wasn't heavy per se for anybody. But I think if the pegboards would have been a little, like if we wouldn't have had the issues with the pegboards and there would have been more people racing on that last barbell, I think the athletes would have been like, nah, that shit was plenty heavy because I had to pick it up and I did not want to.
Right.
Sure.
Right. And that's kind of my spiel on that. Like the deadlifts will, 60 deadlifts at 350 on an axle bar.
I was about to say on an axle bar.
And the other thing with that event is that woodway runner destroys your hamstrings.
What is the difference between a woodway runner and an air runner or a assault runner?
It's just a little harder.
Yeah.
It's built very similar, but it's almost more adjacent to the old true form runner.
Okay.
You just have to work a little bit harder to get meters or distance.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting piece of equipment. I've never seen that. At all.
I think they did that because I think they did that for two reasons. I think they did that logistically. Like I don't think there was a good place to run in the venue. And then I think the other reason they did it is, if I had to guess, they might have taken into consideration the total running volume in 24 hours.
Yes.
And those are going to be a little more forgiving on your joints.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I mean, for all we know, Dave might have known that was going to be harder on your hamstrings and been like, dope. Like,
go
you know what I mean? Yeah, go deadlift now. Like, we don't know. I really liked that event event to me is CrossFit. Like,
yes.
The embodiment, like a trademark CrossFit workout. Like something, Fran is a trademark CrossFit workout. Thruster, vertical pull, something like that. Pick up a heavy load in a hinge pattern, do a longer cyclical monostructural effort, and then get upside down with a high skill gymnastics workout. High skill, air quotes. I get it.
Yep.
But for a lot of volume, and now race doing it for an extended time domain.
Yeah.
Getting into that almost 20-minute time domain, right? So to me, that was a great event. That was just an expression of what the fittest in the world can do on that kind of a workout. I mean, there's a lot of really good semifinals athletes who can't do that in 25 minutes.
No. And also worth noting, I mean, you put a 350-pound deadlift and try to use your shoulders. You use a lot more shoulders than you think on a deadlift too. That was a very compounding workout. Whether it be your legs or your shoulders or just upper body, just in general. Yeah,
classic pairing, right? Playing off like Diane a little bit, the hinge inversion. Like,
well, then it ended up being, 550 feet of handstand walk. So that's, that's a serious volume of handstand walk.
It's not like outlandish, but that's plenty for a workout to test in, right? Yep. I really like that event. Like, could the games have been a little heavier? Sure. I mean, we had a 1RM back squat. We had pretty heavy deadlifts for 60 reps. We had some moderately heavy cleans. We had heavy dumbbell shoulder to overhead for 30 reps. Like, I just think he wanted the loading to be dispersed, but people to still have work capacity through it.
Yes.
And I thought he did a good job at that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, awesome. I know we're at 54 minutes. So kind of closing remarks on CrossFit Games, anything
it was just
those lines?
For me, like, I just would want people to take away, like, it was a really good games. It felt like we're coming back up. Like the last year was obviously really hard, and I would say kind of the last 2 years there's just been a lot of criticism and a lot of negativity in the space. And I mean, 23 when I was there with Kelly was a pretty good standard games year, but there was just always a lot of complaining about the semifinals and the quarterfinals. And I think the season itself still could be better, more concise, all those things. We got a comment from Kev. What's up, dude? How likely is Jason to be a repeat champ?
Hi.
I think now that he won, pretty good.
Yeah. Hi. I think Jason is one of those guys, kind of what me and you talked about. Triston has just figured it out. And now that he's played that role of leader for a long time, he's won it.
Got the confidence.
And I think as an athlete, this goes for any sport, when you perform in confidence and you're already at a high level, that puts you at another level. And Dave kind of talked about it in the Road to the Games episode with Tia, is you're not just competing against fitness now you're competing against the mental capacity. You're competing about the experience of the person too. How do I play with the leader jersey on my back? What do I feel confident doing? Am I going to take that extra step to win it again? And I think Jason gets it. He was a born competitor, football player. We already talked about it, but I think he's going to be a perennial podium guy.
It's interesting too, because the first time athletes wear a leader's jersey, it's pretty uncomfortable for them, right? It's like, oh shit, now I've got the target on my back. And then you look at somebody like Tia, if she doesn't have the leader jersey on, she's pissed.
Yes.
It's like a completely different switch. Right. She's like, no, that's my shirt.
Yes. You expect it.
But yeah, I think, there's a lot to be seen with this season, obviously with the sale of the company, what direction new ownership's going to want to take things. But I think the games ended on a really good note. I think CrossFit did a good job of leading up to the games, telling some stories. I think we're kind of getting back to, they're like Jason and Dal and them did a lot on the individual side for the men with their own personalities this year. So
that's two cool personalities in the space, man.
Yeah, Jason, Dallin, James, Justin, even it seems like we're kind of getting back to another good run, kind of like when we had on the men's side, the Rich, Dan, Josh, kind of that thing. So that's cool to see. I think the men's competition is just going to be insane for the next 5 years. And then, on the women's side of thing, the ladies are getting better. They are getting better as a whole.
Tia is just an anomaly of anomalies.
Yeah.
Do you see Lucy Campbell giving Tia a little bit more run for her money next year?
First, third, fourth, seventh in that front group. It's healthy. Yeah. It's very healthy.
Good point, Kevin.
No, she doesn't have enough help from the field still, at least not with the field that got to the games this year. So I think I was talking to Connor about this the other day. The thing with the men is they're also close in their general abilities with the movements and modalities, that the only thing that separates them is racing and execution. Tia is still so far ahead of all of the women's field, or the majority of the women's field of competitors, on her just ability to do some movements at a higher level. She just does bigger sets of parallel handstand push-ups than anybody else. So nobody could beat her in that workout. She just runs faster than everybody else, right? So, Amy Kringle rode faster than her, but couldn't hold the run pace on the backward. So there's not enough ladies who are even with her on skill and capacity of these things to start to take away enough first, second, thirds to really start to eat away at her lead. And the other thing is the ones that aren't consistent. Lucy Campbell will get her in 2 events, but then Lucy Campbell's going to take a 28th and a 29th on the lift.
Right.
So that's the issue with the women's field in terms of competitively chasing Tia, and that's why she's so dominant, is she's just truly bulletproof. Juxtaposed on the men's field, there's 10 or 11 guys who are all damn near bulletproof at the same stuff. There's slight deviation here and there, but they're all going to be there right next to each other every event of the weekend.
Yep. I think the CrossFit Games took a step in the right direction. I think the biggest thing moving forward for them, and this goes for athletes, I think, of all calibers, I think if we figure out a structure that we can just be like, okay, this is what to expect.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be playing a role. Now that we've seen that we've kind of found this, hopefully, groove of where to hover, what to test, maybe not what to test, but how do we test it?
General idea.
Yeah. I think we're in a good spot where last year I don't think we were talking about this and being in a good spot.
I guess my last closing thought would be if they can solidify a season structure that is a little bit more coherent, a little bit less jumbled, even if it's what they did last year, and they just plant their stake in the ground. They're like, look, this is what's up.
Yep.
Here's the dates. Here's what's happening. Da-da-da-da-da. We're not changing this for a while. I think if anything like that happens, we'll be on a really good track on the competitive side of the house.
Agreed.
For the next couple of years. So
agreed.
Do you think that the games this year would affect how WFP goes?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's going to change how the path of WFP would take, basically?
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't think WFP is going to be around long enough to.
I've seen, and I'm sure you guys seen the same stuff. I heard it's not going the best right now.
I think they're going to keep their flag planted in the ground of like when their season is and this, that, and the other, and people are just going to not do it.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, maybe the people who are signed keep doing it, but the thing that they have to figure out is how to entice people who aren't the signed athletes to go.
Fair enough.
But, all right, boys. I appreciate y'all hopping on with me. Thank you guys for everybody who watched. Usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share. Those are the things to do.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that stuff. Appreciate y'all, and we will talk to y'all later.